Yo, YouTube, what's good? It's Rashad Crenshaw back again with another video. Now, the Biden administration is currently denying school lunch programs to schools that don't let trans kids compete in girls' sports. Let's dive into it. Yo, what's good, YouTube? Back again with another video. Now, the Biden administration is currently requiring schools to comply with its LGBT policies or lose billions in federal funding for school lunches. The U.S. Department of Agriculture's Food and Nutrition Service announced in May it will prevent low-income students from participating in its national school lunch program if their public school does not adopt the administration's interpretation of Title IX, my Roman numerals are absolute garbage, I'm sorry, which holds that the federal civil rights law's provision against discrimination based on sex includes designation of sexual orientation and gender identity. The move was originally reported by the Center Square. A spokeswoman for Florida Governor Ron DeSantis said the Biden administration's decision to withhold food from disadvantaged children in order to advance deranged political agenda was appalling. Now, this is insane to me because the Biden administration has to be run by morons. But I mean, when you look at Biden crashing off a bike while standing up, it all starts to make sense. I mean, it all starts to make sense. Really, it all starts to make sense. Let's just say you really felt like you needed to strong arm these schools and these kids into doing what you wanted. You're going to attack the lunch program? Really? What is this, warfare? You're gonna starve out the opposing army? Are you serious? You could do anything. You could defund their athletics program. You could defund the extracurricular programs outside of sports. You could defund everything, but you choose to defund food for these kids? Now, let's keep it a buck. If you're a private school kid, which this won't affect you if you're private school, but if you're a private school kid, you can deal with the school you go to saying you can't eat our lunch anymore. Your parents can buy you food. They can fix you up a meal and send you to school with some food from home. But these kids that go to disenfranchised schools, that come from disenfranchised households, how on God's green earth are they supposed to eat at, for some of these kids, lunch is not a possibility without school. Their parents are at work. They're not eating lunch. A lot of these kids don't have food at home. Lunch is their meal. And you cancel that because you have political agendas? What is happening here? This is the incompetence of the highest level. Incompetence unrivaled by Trump. Trump said and did a lot of weird things, but this is a completely different realm of buffoonery. You're going to stifle funding to these schools' food programs, to these kids being able to eat, because they won't let kids who identify as female but are physically male, they won't let those kids compete in girls' sports. These girls at this age don't have time for people who are physically like boys, identifying as girls, coming into their sports and out-competing them. All of these girls need every single stat they can rack. There's a girl on the team who would rank number one, but she won't rank number one because there's a kid in class who simply identifies as something, but is not physically that, and is out competing her and taking her spot as the number one ranked member of the team, taking her designations and rewards and medals and all sorts of opportunities, taking all of that behind what? Behind an identification? I'm all for allowing students to identify as they please, do as they please in their private life. But when we start talking about sports programs and these kids' futures and these young girls' futures in sports, you can't risk the future of these students behind a tiny minority of students. A tiny minority who identify as something different. These young girls cannot physically compete. They cannot physically compete with boys. It's an end of story argument. I'm not going back and forth with y'all about this. They cannot compete with boys at all. So when you take these boys who identify as girls and you place them in girls' sports and they outcompete these girls and they take the hard work that these young girls are putting in and make it null and void, what kind of message are you sending these young girls? What kind of message are you sending them? That their hard work is nothing? And if them and their parents and the schools don't accept such a reality, you're going to stifle the food? You're going to make it hard for these kids to be able to eat lunch? You're going to get rid of their lunch programs? You're serious right now? Really? Of all the things to defund, you choose food, a part of the school program. How diabolical do you have to be? How evil does your spirit and your soul have to be to politicize the food that these kids eat at school? Truly. Look, the Biden administration can have a problem with whatever they want to have a problem with. But if you're going to defund anything, which I don't believe defunding anything is acceptable in this situation. But if you're going to defund something, defund at least the sports program. That's the entire problem. This is the entire issue you have a problem with. You have an issue with sports. Why are you defunding the kids' ability to eat at school? What is wrong with these people? You want to strong arm people's kids into playing sports with people that are physically stronger than them. And if they don't accept that, you're going to then starve them out. Is anyone else completely just in shock of the depravity, the depths that the crazies of this country will go to get you to submit to something? Truly. Am I the only one who's truly surprised by this? Am I the only one who's disturbed by this? It's really unbelievable, truly unbelievable, the depths of depravity that these people are willing to delve into just to make the world fit the image that they demand. I'm not for the bullying of trans kids. I'm not for the stifling of the futures of trans kids, but we have to find a way to make leagues where kids who identify but do not physically manifest the traits of the gender that they identify as can have their own league where they can compete with one another. We cannot have people with the physicality, strength, and speed of a boy competing with someone with the physicality, strength, speed, and dexterity of a girl. It's not fair. It's end of story, not fair. What are we even talking about? The fact that this is even news that I'm reporting blows my mind. America is getting crazier and crazier, all on your tax dollars. Now, what do y'all think about that? Comment, like, subscribe, because I'm getting close to getting monetized. I want y'all to subscribe to my channel. I know I've never said subscribe before, but we're getting very close to what's the word? I forget the word. We're getting very close to a milestone for our channel, guys. We are getting very close, because I wouldn't be anything without you guys supporting me. We are getting close to a very important milestone. I want you guys to keep subscribing because we're getting closer to getting monetized every step of the way. So get up these subscribers. Holla at me.